Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about using drum racks in Ableton Live. Specifically if you've not really used them before and weren't quite sure on how to set them up correctly or how to use them. So to get to the drum racks, we go and click drums here in the left hand column, and then you'll be able to see in the right hand side all the different pre-built drum kits that come with Ableton Live. You can preview them by clicking on each one. And when you're ready to insert one, just click and drag either onto an empty MIDI clip or into the area that says drop files and devices here. So here you can see down the bottom we have all the different instruments that are in our drum rack, such as the kick, snare, hi-hat closed. Over to the left here you can see the different macros that have been set up for the drum kit, which allows you to adjust individual settings. Now these may be different depending which drum racks you use. And to the right of the instruments you'll see the actual sample. So this is the waveform for the kick, for the rim, snare, and so on. We can adjust the settings for each of these as well. If we go over to one shot, we can adjust things such as the length of the sample, we can adjust its fade in, fade out, we can transpose it up or down octaves, we can adjust the volume, and if we go to controls we can adjust things like ADSR, LFOs, etc., but I won't go into that this time because this is a very basic tutorial. Now to insert a sample beat, let's go up to the first clip in our kit and double click. Now you can see within the piano roll all the instruments that are a part of this kit, and we can start creating our beat. And when we want to preview it, let's go up here and just hit the play button. And press the space bar to stop. So we're happy with the beat that we've just created, and we want to go and move it to the arrangement view where we can expand on it and create a full track. To do this, go up to the record button, hold your shift key, and then press record. By holding shift record, Ableton will wait until you press play before it actually starts recording. So when we're ready, hit the play button. Okay, as you can see, I didn't have my playhead at the beginning of the track, but never mind. We can drag that across. Alright, and now we have our beat to work with. It's automatically been quantized and set to loop, so we can drag it in and out and do whatever we would like to it. Okay, so going back to clip view, if you want to add individual effects into each instrument, all you need to do is click on the instrument, go to audio effects, grab whatever effect you want. In this case we'll use an EQ8, and drag it onto the end of the instrument. Now if I was to go over to the rim, you can see it hasn't been added to that or any other instrument, only to the kick. Now another interesting thing you can do with drum kits is what is called choking. Choking is where one instrument can cancel out another, and they're particularly good for instruments such as hats. And to set this up, we go over here to the show hide chain list, and you will see here there is a column called choke. If you can't see this choke column, over here is a show hide input output section. Just make sure it is selected. Now if we were to scroll down, you will see that this drum kit already has the hi-hats in choke channel 1. So what this means now is if one of the hi-hats is playing and then the other hi-hat plays whilst this one is playing, the second hi-hat will cancel out the sound of the first hi-hat. And this is great just for separating your sounds and not having similar sounding instruments over the top of each other. So if you like me, a drum kit is great for getting initial ideas. When I actually start working with these instruments, I like to have them as separate channels. Now this is easy enough to do. All we need to do is select the instrument that you want to pull out of your drum kit and click on it and just drag it up into this area which says drop files and devices here. Now that's separated out the kick into its own channel, and all the other instruments are still in the drum kit. If we were to move over to arrangement view, you can see the same thing has happened. You can also select multiple instruments. To do this, highlight the ones that you want. If they're not next to each other, hit the control button whilst pressing to multiple select. You can then right click and choose extract chains. Now as you can see, this has separated it out of the drum kit into its own drum kit. And if we go over, you will see that both instruments are in their own channel. Although it appears I didn't actually add anything to the hi-hat, but I can do that now if I want. You can also do that just for single instruments. So let's select this hi-hat, right click, extract chains, and it is added into its own channel. There you go. So now we can work on these individually, we can group them, we can adjust them. A lot easier than what you may have been able to do in the drum kit. To create your own drum kit, simply go up to drums again and just drag this drum kit into a MIDI channel or over here onto the drop files and devices. And now all we need to do is go down to a sample pack of your choice, choose a sample, drag it into the empty drum rack, and then just carry on doing this for all the instruments you want to use. And then the process is exactly the same as I showed you for the pre-built Ableton drum kits. Double click in the clip and start building your beats. Okay, so I hope some of you have found this tutorial of interest, especially those that may have never used a drum rack before or were a little unsure as to how to go about using them correctly.